All right. Hey everybody, Kevin here. Sorry I'm losing my voice. It's been cold out and it screws with my voice. Anyway, we're on another project here, a quick little tiny project, and I ran into a bit of a conundrum. So my clients wanted me to build this slab countertop. They went out and bought a slab, and I cut the sink in, fitted all that, sanded it all up. I'm gonna put 4 coats of polyurethane on it right here. The exterior polyurethane, that'll keep it nice and watertight. But my conundrum is they want this to be like a floating shelf, and it's redwood. Since they want the floating shelf look, what do? Do we go out and buy the hardware and drill holes in this thing and then hopefully that'll hold it up? You know, there's a wall here and this is a wall here. We could do that, or we could just do it ourselves. And you know me, I'm just gonna do it myself. So the conundrum we're having right now is, do we dado, make a piece of wood that goes in there, screw it to the wall and screw this to that, or do we rabbet? To dado or to rabbet? That is the question. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll give you all the reasons why to rabbet and not dado for this situation. First thing is redwood. If I dado this is only 2 inches thick. If I make this even 3/4, that only leaves like 5/8 of an inch on top and bottom. It doesn't matter how deep it is. It's not very strong. Redwood is weak. Right in here somewhere, there's a huge knot, and I'll show you that in a bit. If it didn't have a 20-pound concrete sink in the damn thing, and it was just a shelf and it wasn't 22 inches wide, I'd probably just dado it. The last thing I would do probably is go to Rockler and buy those brackets because you don't really need them. So I made something like that I actually made myself out of dowels. I'll put a picture of it right here. Okay, and it works. You just attach it to the wall, you drill some big ass holes in it, you just use some epoxy and epoxy it to the damn wall. Thing was, 8 inches tall, about 10 inches wide, and about 8 feet long, and it's in there for life. Now, how do we go about rabbeting it? There's 3 or 4 different ways we can do it. First thing we can do is take our beautiful fest tool and just rabbet off the back, right? Cut it and then cut off the side, boom, done. Except for this edge right here is totally visible, so we have to stop it within a couple inches. And we could do that with this saw. Or we could take it on the table saw and run it on the table saw and then flip it up on edge and then run that through there. But this is kind of actually very fragile because of the hole that's in here for this sink. And I'll show you in a second. I keep saying that, I'll show it to you. This side over here is super narrow and thin. It's only like 1.5 inches wide. So I think I'm gonna use my handheld router because it's gonna be easier. But do we use like a rabbeting cutter? The only problem is I want it to go in 1 inch, at least 1 inch. And that won't do. That's a 1/4 inch rabbeting cutter. It's actually for a door cutter. That won't work. I had all sorts of different rabbet cutters like this, right? And the only problem is it only goes in like 3/8 of an inch, and that's it. I don't have any bigger ones. Now I could use this. This would work beautifully. And we can put that in the router, and boom, except it's redwood, and this is a straight cutter. What we're gonna use is this guy right here. We're gonna use a spiral head cutter, and it's an up cutter so it'll pull all the crap out. And we're gonna set this in the router, and we're gonna use a straight edge against the base, and I'm gonna show you what I do to make this go in 1 inch. We're gonna set this up so this is actually will be set up for the final cut. I'm gonna put little strips in there, and every time we make a pass and we go around, we're gonna pull out a strip and do another one, and pull out a strip and do another one. I'm just gonna use some scrap 1/8 inch MDF that I have sitting over there, and I'll show you how I do it. And in case you have to do something like this too. So the reason we're not using the dado is because this material up here would be too thin to hold this whole damn thing up. And I'll show you what the back looks like. That should explain it. Okay, here's the back piece that I ripped off of over here. You see what the problem is? It's redwood. And it does this a lot. And just followed a sap line. And that's all it was, is a sap line, and it broke. Sorry. So this reason is the reason I'm going to put the rabbet on the bottom. Before I lose my voice totally, let's get to this thing, and thanks for watching. Milled up my little pieces of madrone. They're perfectly flat and jointed and all sorts of cool things. Good duck. All right, so look at that knot. Yikes. This is gonna sit in here at the very bottom in about 1.25 inches. There's more meat down below here on this side than there is up here. If we were run that down right down the center like you do all those floatable shelves, you'd only have just a little bit of meat up here to hold it in place. That's the other reason we're putting it down on the bottom. I'm gonna sand the interior of this a little bit, especially the end grain, but you can see how thin that is. This is 1.25 inches by 2 inches. This is like balsa wood. So this is gonna go in here at the very bottom, like so. So we're gonna put holes in here so we can screw this to the studs. When we get there, They're supposedly backing, but who knows? So we'll drill that in here, and then we're gonna pre-drill this into the bottom here once we rabbet all this out, and put some 1.5-inch screws in it to hold it in place. When we go to install this, we're gonna use construction adhesive, the heavy duty kind, and just glue the crap out of it, put it in place and let it sit there for a day, and then attach the sink after that. And I'm losing my voice. So what we're gonna do now is make some room, lay this on its back. We're gonna set up the router, then we're gonna set up a little bracket in here to bump that router into. I'm gonna write on this so I don't screw it up that this is the back here, back. Because, you know, it kind of looks the same front to back. And this is the side we're gonna route out over here. This is gonna go here, it's gonna stop right in here. This board here is gonna come in here somewhere. I'm just gonna run it all the way through. But back in here, I'm gonna put on here, stop. Just so I remember, sometimes you get moving and you don't stop, right? You just keep going. At least I do, because I'm stupid. Sometimes your old timers catches up with you, you know? You go like, oh yeah, what was I gonna do now? But I'm just kind of marking this out with a kindergarten pencil so I know. So 1.25 inches by 7/8. They're both 7/8 by 1.25. Very strong, heavy. It's like maple, except it's madrone. It's scrap, basically. It's what we have. My client says, do it as fast and as cheap as possible. When I'm doing stuff like this and I'm showing all of you what I'm doing, it's free to my clients. They're actually getting something out of it. They're getting free work. What? When I'm doing it, if it's a bid, if I bid the damn job, I'm not charging them either. It's on my own time. So all of this is on my own time. And for all of you to dislike and not watch. But I wish you'd hit the like button, because that helps, and talk. Comment below and share it with your friends, share it with the world. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these two things down and we're gonna stick them down in this hunk of redwood. I'm gonna have to open up the door. I'm gonna put a fan over here. I got the heater on full bore because it's 56 degrees in here now. It was 45 this morning when I got in here. And we're gonna put our respirator on because it's redwood and it's nasty. But the first thing we gotta do is set up the router. I'm gonna use old squeakers. This one is just a whiny old piece of poop. This thing's seen better days. See, it has a rabbeting cutter in it too, but we can't cut 1.25 inches deep without rabbeting cutter. All right, I'm gonna switch this out with this beautiful bit right here. We're gonna set the depth, and all I'm gonna do is set these two on top of here like this. I'm gonna set the router here. I'm gonna drop it down till it touches, and we're good to go. I'll see you in a minute. I got the bit in there just like that, okay? I'm just gonna take this thing, hold on to it here. Set it down like yonder. Lock it in place. That's it. And that should be good enough. So to set that, we just put it in between the two pieces that we're actually gonna install, dropped it right down under the hunk of redwood on the back here, and that's it. Now what we need to do is gonna measure from the side here to this edge here. When we use this router, we're gonna use this spot right there. Can you see that? We're gonna use that little red mark right there to run up against our fence. All right, and we're gonna go down there and we're gonna run across. Now we have to measure from this edge here to this edge here. You see what I'm doing? So I'm actually putting that on here, butting it in, laying it flat on the base, and when it hits it, I push in, and that should be pretty good. If it's in a little more, that's fine. If it's sticking out, that's not good. And we'll just join the board off. So it should be set, whatever that is. God, I sound like a weirdo.
Oh, welcome to my new TV show.
Now I have to go find something for this. I gotta find a piece of scrap wood. I'll be right back. So here's what we're gonna do. We have a scrap piece of maple that we're gonna use as our guide. I'm gonna take our piece of 1.25 inch madrone. We're gonna put it in here. We're just using this as a kind of a guide. You'll see here in a second. And we're gonna take this and we're gonna butt this piece of maple into it. And that'll be our finished cut, because this is the dimension from that red mark to the edge of that cutter. And we're just gonna tag this into place. I got my 1.25 inch mark down there. That means this, when we finish cutting it, should cut right on that line. So now what we gotta do is we gotta fill in this little 3/4 inch space here with a bunch of little pieces of wood. We're gonna take 1/4 inch strips of MDF and I'm gonna fill this in. I'm gonna tape them into place, and every time I make a pass, I'm gonna pull one of them out and I'll go 1/4 inch in, we'll cut it again. Since we have the depth already set, we're just gonna do a quarter until we're done. This place is gonna become a disaster area. This is 1.25 inches. These little strips of maple that have MDF core on them, they're a little less than 1.25 inches, right? And you're gonna say, what the hell, Kev? They're short. They're little tiny short pieces. I know. Here's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna put them on there. I'm gonna put this on here. I'm gonna drop it in there, and we're just gonna kind of shove them together. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one out, and we're gonna do it again. Every time I'm just gonna take out another 1/8 of an inch, and we'll make another cut. It won't take very long. It's gonna make a hell of a mess. I gotta get all my gear on. Hold the back right here, finish with that, and we're gonna go in. Wow, check the depth. Perfectly flat. God, I'm losing my voice. Perfectly flat. That's one. I'm gonna take this off. I peel one off. Flip the tape back up, because you know, tape is good. Blow this out a little bit. I'm putting a spring clamp down there so it doesn't move. Okay, we're gonna put another one up here, just to hold it in place a little better. Flush with the end down here. Move another one. Tape it back up. There we go. Take another one off. 3 more passes. Blow this out. Flush with the end. Yeah, that's something else, isn't it? All right, there's that one. Let's take that guy and stick it in there. Yeah, it's perfect. Nice and flush all the way across the top. Okay, this side is done. Now we're gonna do this side. Damn it all. I thought I was filming and I wasn't. This is the distance from the outside of the router to the outside of the bit. We have our piece here. Just put the piece in there, attack this straight line part in right there. So when we get done, the final pass will be here. Just like we did last time, and we're just gonna peel one off at a time. Okay, I'm gonna bring this out here. Just gonna put the spring clamps into place just to keep it from moving around. I have to stop here. Hunk of wood like this, right on the edge, so we have a stop for our router to butt into. That's holding it flush. Okay, there we go. There's our stop. We use the face frame clamp to hold it flush and just a 12-inch Jorgensen to hold it there. Hopefully we can get this to work. That'll stop. We don't have to think about it. We just start here and go. Now we gotta put all our stuff back on and go. And hopefully when we get done, this will all fit and it'll stop right in there somewhere. Here we go. Okay, it stopped right on my mark. A little farther, but that's pretty good. This is very wibbly. Maybe you can see better. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Oops. Yeah. Now you know why I didn't want to put it in the middle. Yeah, look how thin that is. Now you can see why I wanted to rabbet this. This being as thin as it is, ain't no good. So we have punky right here, really punky, and we have a crack. Super punky on the end. We're gonna fill that with CA glue. We're gonna fill this with CA glue. It's just a sap line. It's a sap line. Runs through the face. I'll put CA glue on this knot up here. I might put a little bit more in there also on the back side too, because that knot is not really that visible on that side, right? But you flip it over, it's nasty. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clean up this mess real quick, and then we'll fix this, we'll sand it. I'll do some stuff in here a little bit, and I'm gonna put finish on. All right, our little pieces of madrone are in there. Rounded the edges over just a little bit so you can slide it into place. I'm going to cut this off right here. This is a slight taper, so I need to just make that as straight as possible. It's not structural at all, it's just gonna come off like that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drill some holes here. We're not gonna drill it into the redwood, we're just gonna basically pre-drill those holes there. And then we're gonna do the same, we're gonna offset these, because they told me there's backing in there. So if there's not any backing and we don't hit a stud, then we're gonna have to put something else in there. We'll have to find a stud and do all that. The next thing I need to do is I'm gonna cut this off real quick. Take a little Japanese saw. I'm just gonna cut this out. I just like using my Japanese saw. And the other thing I like to use, my Shinto. If you don't know what a Shinto is, it's basically like a bunch of hacksaw blades going one direction. You have the coarse on this side and the fine on that side. And you can grind the snot out of anything. I use it all the time on installs. So if you're an installer and you've never heard of a Shinto, look them up. You can buy them on Amazon, I think. Made in Japan. These things are amazing. Fine on this side, coarse on that side. I'm gonna have to start selling stuff online because I'm getting too old for this crap on installs and stuff. Okay, so there's a few things I gotta do before I start finishing. We gotta deal with this punky corner right here. Okay, this corner right here is super soft and punky. Look at the end. See the end? Ugh. I'm gonna fill that. And you have this basically sap line check. It starts way up here, but we cut all that off, so it's way down here. That actually is just a sap line. But I'm gonna pour some in there anyway, because it's kind of weak. And then we're gonna do the knot. So we're gonna start back here and work our way around. Today we're using Starbond. I saw this on Blacktail Studios, whatever Cam, the guy that makes all the cool tops and stuff, he uses this stuff all the time. And so I started using it and it freaking works amazing, except for the tops. The little tip breaks off. This one broke off too. It just broke off inside of here. The Scar Bond, medium and thick. They work really well. I used to use the Type Bond and I didn't like the way it worked. It worked terribly. And then I tried this and this works amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love Type Bond glue. It's the only glue I use. Type Bond 3, I use that for everything. As far as their CA glue, nah. There's certain things that are that way. You know, you like them, oh, I really like this part, and then there's something they make and it just sucks. It is what it is. Can't always bat 1,000, right? All the knots are glued up, all the cracks have glue in them. We rabbited the back because dadoing would not leave us this much material in redwood. To dado or to rabbet? That was the question, and we answered it. For this, because of the weakness of the wood and how skinny it is, it's definitely rabbet. All right, everybody, well, there you go. Thanks for watching. You have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe now.
Welcome to my new TV show. Because Kevin's a dummy again. Okay. Where is it? There it is. Okay. My routers live down here. Here, Mr. Router. Tiny short pieces. I know. Oh, I guess I gotta turn this on. It's one of those things, old age, you know. Damn it all. Sorry about that.